Yo guys, what's going on? This is the first episode of the cycle, our weekly baseball rundown. We got a few guests here, Justin, Godsey, and Richard Janvrin from MLBbaseballblogs. And covering your town, your team, your Philadelphia Phillies is Kevin McAlpin down at Citizens Bank Park, ready for the Phillies to have Cliff Lee make his return. Guys, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not too much, man. Thanks for having me as well.
Kevin, what's going on, man?
I'm just trying to stay warm, man. They just opened these press box windows. I'm freezing down here.
All right, I'm going to run down the standings first, and then we're going to go through our big stories, basically. So let's start. In the American League East, Toronto has jumped out hot with a 2-0 record. Baltimore is 1-0. Yankees are 1-0. Boston and Tampa Bay are 0-1. In the Central, Chicago is 2-0. The White Sox are 2-0. Kansas City is 2-1. Detroit is 0-1, and Minnesota and Cleveland are 0-2. So not a good start for them. Seattle and Texas in the AL West are both 1-0. Angels are 1-2, and the A's are 0-1. Heading over to the National League East, Phillies, Braves, and Marlins are all 1-0. Phillies, obviously, big game tonight. Cliff Lee coming back. That's probably the biggest story we're going to be covering. In the Central, Cincinnati is 1-0. Pittsburgh and the Cubs are both 1-1. I wouldn't expect that to hold too long for Pittsburgh. And Houston, Milwaukee, and St. Louis are all 0-1. Finally, rounding out the West, Dodgers off to a fast start, 2-0. They have put the Giants at 0-2. Padres and Diamondbacks both at 1-0, along with an 0-1 Colorado Rockies team. So let's start with Kevin from 97.5 The Fanatic down at the game. Kevin, what do you expect the atmosphere to be like for Cliff Lee's return tonight?
Well, I tell you, I got to the ballpark around 3 o'clock, and there were already a ton of tailgaters out in the parking lots getting excited for this one. If you check, read the paper, if you've been looking towards this one for quite a while, pretty much since December 13th when Cliff Lee re-signed with the Phillies. So this has been maybe one of the more anticipated second games of the year. Obviously, with Roy Halladay on the mound yesterday, everyone looking forward to opening day, but this might be a tougher ticket to get, believe it or not, than opening day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I looked online, and opening day was actually cheaper in a lot of cases on StubHub than this game. So this is a real anticipated game. I'd expect Lee to try and go the distance tonight. I mean, he's a crowd pleaser. He loves Philly. I would expect this guy to try and go out and throw 9 innings. Halladay obviously didn't last night. Big win for the Phillies yesterday. They've started out well. Having Halladay, I think that's huge. Having him pitch well in the shorter appearance than normal. If they can get a big start out of Lee, this takes a lot of pressure off this team, and the offense came alive in the 9th inning yesterday.
Well, the problem with Roy Halladay yesterday, he threw a ton of pitches. I mean, the Astros really did a nice job of making him work, making him throw a lot of pitches and getting that pitch count up. I mean, he was at 101 there in the 6th inning. Brett Myers was somewhere near 45 at the same point. So Phillies pitchers a little more anxious at the plate. The Astros did a nice job of really working counts. I mean, it was perfect for the first 3 innings, but obviously the end result was what it was. Strong 9th inning comeback from some of the more lesser name guys on this ball club. John Mayberry obviously with the game winner. So yeah, it was nice to see some of the reserves come through in the big spots there in the 9th inning and get that first win under their belts.
Yeah, Justin and Richard, either of you guys want to jump in about this?
Not being a huge Cliff Lee fan, this guy was going to come to New York, but apparently with this wide situation, because people apparently said that Cliff Lee's life got spit on in New York. I'm going to leave it to the experts that you guys are the Phillies fans, so I'm going to leave it to you guys, the experts.
I mean, I'm a huge Tampa Bay fan, and, still got that taste in my mouth about the Phillies beating us in a way. But anyways, I think Cliff Lee is, I think he'll do all he can to go the distance tonight. Like you said, Tim, he's a crowd pleaser. He doesn't, the thing about Cliff Lee, he doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he knows how to locate pitches. And I can't wait for his debut. Well, I wouldn't say his debut in Philly because he's already debuted in Philly, but his return to Philly, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a more anticipated game against the Houston Astros in my life. I mean, everyone I'm talking to, I'm actually having a party tonight with a few people about this. I mean, this is a great atmosphere. All around school yesterday and everywhere I've been, people are wearing Philly shirts. I mean, this team is just so pumped up. The expectations are sky high. The fan base has probably never been bigger than it is right now. You know, if they lose this game, it's going to be a huge letdown.
Well, I don't know if you can consider it a huge letdown. I mean, obviously it'd be disappointing. But, I mean, this early in the season, you know, it's just such a long, marathon that they have to run. So obviously it'd be disappointing. But, you know, when you look at, you know, if they were to lose today, you get to have Roy Oswalt on the mound tomorrow. So, I mean, it's just, it's one of those things. This team right now is built to be able to have bounce backs, and be able to turn the page awfully quick.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the bottom line with this game, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere down there as it normally is, and we'll have to see what Cliff can do. Hopefully, he doesn't lose 1-0 or something ridiculous like that. Now let's jump to a few other things. We're each going to give you our big story from the week. I'm not sure if Kevin has one, but I got my first big one, and it's not this. It's the San Francisco Giants. Miguel Tejada replacing Juan Uribe in that first game, man. He had a costly error. I do not think the Giants will make the playoffs this year because I think this offense, with Cody Ross injured, I think Pat Burrow played out of his mind at the second half of that season. I think Andres Torres might have been a one-year wonder. I'm not sure the Giants are even going to go back to the playoffs, and I don't think people understand how big of a loss it was to lose Juan Uribe and end up with Miguel Tejada. I mean, he might be a sexy name, but I mean, the bottom line, he hasn't been good since he was on steroids. So, Justin, I know you're out west in Phoenix. What do you think about this?
My dad, as you guys may have known, my dad cooked for the Giants. Not seeing Cody. Did not really see much of Cody Ross. He's usually on the bench when I was watching the games out here in New York. Brian Wilson has that oblique strain. I think this Giants team is the same team as last year. I mean, Juan Uribe being replaced by Miguel Tejada. I mean, Uribe is better than Miguel Tejada. No doubt about it. I mean, Tejada was tested positive for steroid use and everything like that. I still think that this Giants team is going to either win the wild card or not make the playoffs. It just has to come down to it. How well will the Rockies play? They got upset yesterday against the Diamondbacks, even though it's the first game of the season. Still early in the season to predict, but as you guys see in our 30 clubs and 30 recaps, we have the Giants not making the playoffs. It's all going to come down to maybe the last 2 weeks left in the season.
Yeah, Kevin, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, if you want to look for a big storyline here in Philadelphia, obviously losing Brad Lidge for 3 to 6 weeks, possibly even more. The big storyline with this ball club right now is the situation with the closer. Jose Contreras, can he be that guy? Charlie Manuel not electing to go with Ryan Madsen in that situation. So, I mean, I think if you're looking for a storyline other than yesterday's big win, it'll be the back end of this Phillies bullpen.
Yeah, I'm worried, and I mean, I was worried to begin with because you never know what you're getting out of Brad Lidge. I would love to see Ryan Madsen just take control of this and become the closer, but, I mean, how many times has this guy gotten a chance to do that over the last 2 seasons, and he just hasn't done it?
Yeah, I don't think Charlie has much confidence, so that's why he's going to Jose Contreras at this point. Again, he's had some chances, hasn't panned out, so I guess they're going to have to see what Contreras can do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, he was strong last year. I have doubts that he'll be the closer for the whole season. I mean, a lot of people are saying now that Lidge just won't be back. If he's back, he won't be effective. I think he's in a contract year. It's time to go in another direction. I mean, there's guys out there. Matt Capps out in Minnesota is a setup man right now. I wrote a blog earlier this week. There's a few other possibilities. And an interesting one for me could be Jabba Chamberlain if he becomes available because he has been successful for the most part out of that bullpen area, and he's 26, so I mean that's a possibility. The Red Sox got a few guys in Papelbon and Bobby Jenks that could be available, so I mean I think that problem could be sorted out. I think the biggest issue for the Phillies is they have a few problems that need to be sorted out and not a lot of cap room to work with.
Yeah, they're pretty tapped out. This is the highest payroll we've seen here in the 170 million range. So I don't think their flexibility is as nearly as much as most people think.
Anything else you guys want to add? I mean, normally I think this show will be a little longer. Only 2 days into the season, it's a little tough. But Justin, you want to add anything?
Just a quick update. Right now it's the Yankee game. I'm a huge Yankee fan. The Yankees yesterday against the Tigers, their first game of the season at Yankee Stadium. This game was really, really challenging. CC Sabathia had somewhat of a struggled outing. He's starting the season off with a 3.00 ERA, but right now the Yankees and the Tigers, it's currently the Yankees 3, Tigers nothing. Most of this stuff is coming out of pop flies. You got Teixeira who was on base, and most of the scoring was out of pop flies and the ground out. But other than that, the Yankees are looking strong this season. I'm expecting a good season out of A.J. Burnett. From last year, he had a struggling season. Jabba Chamberlain, just to throw into something, I don't think Jabba Chamberlain's not going to go sign with for the Phillies. I think the Phillies are going to be fine with their bullpen. Well, there are some problems in their bullpen, but their closer should be Jose Contreras, and will be. But I don't think Jabba Chamberlain's going to go to the Phillies. I think he was predicted to be traded to Minnesota for Francisco Liriano, along with, I think, Romero Pena for Francisco Liriano, but I actually think that's not going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I just wrote a blog with like 5 potential guys, and I didn't want to throw in I wanted to throw in a wild card guy, and Jabba Chamberlain just kind of came to my mind. I'm not a huge fan of the guy personally, but he's had potential. Richard, let's try this again. Anything else you want to get to?
Yeah, also just to recap on the Phillies closing situation, you got a guy named Heath Bell who might potentially be...
Yeah, he was another guy I had in that. Yeah, Heath Bell. It's good point.
I think if the Phillies can acquire Heath Bell, then it's all over, even without Chase.
Yeah, and one thing I said in that, Heath Bell, I think the Padres are going to start out with a high request for Heath Bell, but I think the bottom line for Heath Bell is the Padres can't lose people because they only have so many good people, and they need to build through their farm system because they can't do it via free agency. So if they can't, if it becomes to the point where it's July 31st, I think they will get desperate and they will trade for less, they'll take less, and the Phillies have that. I mean, the Phillies have an interesting guy for the Twins if they went for Matt Capps and Joe Blanton. The Twins need starting depth. So, I mean, Kevin, if you could go out and find a guy that the Phillies could replace Brad Lidge with, who is it?
That's the $1 million question right now. Again, it's going to have to be a situation where they're not going to be able to go out and spend too much money. I mean, like I said, this team right now, this payroll is extremely tapped out. Ruben said this offseason that there was no flexibility anymore. So, I mean, I think there's some good names out there. I think of all of them, I think Heath Bell would be the guy that would be the biggest name, the best name, I would think. But it all depends on what happens with Brad Lidge. I mean, if he can come back in 3 to 6 weeks, if that is the case, then this is sort of a moot point. But if he's out for half the season, possibly longer, as some people expect, then I would think the Phillies will definitely look into some options.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Lidge fan, obviously. I mean, the guy won us a World Series, and I will always be thankful for that, and I'll always remember Brad Lidge. But, I mean, he was decent last year. He wasn't great. He was never a lockdown until, like, the end of the season. In 2009, he was horrendous, one of the worst seasons of a closer all time. 2008, he had one of the best seasons. I mean, but you can't go season to season not knowing what you're going to get. That's basically where I'm at. Huge Phillies game tonight, as we've said this entire time. Tonight, Cliff Lee making his return. We will have a video. Kevin will probably be in it. AC will probably be in it, so we'll just have to see. I'm Tim. He is Kevin McAlpin, 97.5 The Fanatic, Justin Godsey, and Richard Janvrin of MLBbaseballblogs. Richard wants to add one more thing here. What do you want to add, Richard?
You asked me my storyline earlier, and I kind of cut out there. Do you have time to add that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
My biggest storyline so far are these rookie sensations. You got 2 in Toronto, and Aaron Sebia and Drabek. Drabek going 7 strong innings, giving up 1 hit. Aaron Sebia with 2 home runs yesterday. We got the much anticipated Jeremy Hellickson down there in Tampa Bay. Brandon Bell hit a home run in his major league debut. I think these are obviously players of the future, and I'm really interested to see how these guys do.
Yeah, and I can add to that real quick. The guy for Kansas City, the first baseman, his name's impossible to say, so I'm not going to... Yeah, he had a home run last night, too. This guy has tremendous power potential. So, Justin, you wanted to add one thing, too?
Yeah, I want to add in on the Heath Bell situation. Not bashing on the Phillies fans, but I think the Phillies are going to add another pitcher at the deadline. I don't think it's going to be Heath Bell. I mean, Heath Bell said he was really excited about the contract negotiations. He's going to be open. He's already like near a deal with his contract right now. Because I've been reading off MLB trade rumors that Heath Bell is excited about the progress that he has made in the offseason and during spring training about the contract negotiations. I think he's going to sign an extension with San Diego, and I don't really think he's going to go anyplace else.
You know, that's possible, but I think he'd be a lot more excited about joining a World Series contender, and I think Kevin would agree on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. That's your show for today, The Cycle. Special thanks to Justin Godsey, Richard Janvrin of MLBbaseballblogs, Kevin McAlpin, 97.5 The Fanatic. These guys will be on throughout the year with us. This will be a weekly show. I don't know if every single person will be on every week, but we'll have rotating people. We're looking to get Dan Schwartzman, a host on 97.5 The Fanatic, on with us next week. So we got a few guys. Maybe we'll add some players on here with us. Anything you guys want to add, go ahead right now.
I got it.
All right. That's your show for today. Thanks for watching.